Over to Israel now, where protesters are holding a day of national resistance in opposition to judicial changes proposed by the government. This comes after the Knesset passed the first reading of a controversial bill to limit the Supreme Court's powers. The biggest protests are expected in the evening on Tuesday in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. Mohammed Jamjoon joins us live from West Jerusalem with much more on this. And Mohammed, we've been talking about this for some time now. After many months, many weeks of protests, the pressure clearly remains firmly on the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu.
That's right, Neve. Already today, you've had thousands of people, dozens of rallies in cities across central Israel. They include Tel Aviv, Ra'anana, Ramat Gan, and the crowd seemed to only be getting bigger. We are expecting that within a couple of hours from now, there will be a protest in West Jerusalem outside of the Supreme Court, which is really at the heart of all this controversy, because the people that have been coming out to protest are protesting because this judicial overhaul package has been proposed by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his far-right coalition partners would significantly limit the power of the Supreme Court and the judiciary as a whole. Now, today, the fact of the matter is that at least 19 people have been arrested already. That's according to the Israeli police. They say they were arrested for public disorder. You've had highways that were blocked. You've had demonstrators show up on bridges outside of train stations. And really, what this goes to show is that the demonstrators are continued to be mobilized despite the heat. It's very hot here today. Despite all the obstacles in their way, they say they are going to continue to come out, to continue to try to put pressure on Prime Minister Netanyahu, on members of his far-right coalition, to get them to stop trying to advance this proposal. Neve?
And talking about advancing the proposal, what next for this controversial bill now that it's passed the first reading in the Knesset?
So this is one particular bill that's part of the larger proposal. The package of laws has been proposed by the Prime Minister. This one bill passed its first reading this past Monday, and after that passage, that first vote in the Knesset needs to pass 3 votes in the Knesset before it would be enacted into law. After that first passage last Monday, you had thousands of people come out on the streets on Tuesday. That was called a day of disruption. Today, it's called a day of resistance, and what's expected now is that perhaps by Monday, you would have the final reading at some point of this bill. But the demonstrators say they are committed to trying to ensure that the Prime Minister will not go ahead. Now, the Prime Minister, for his part, has said repeatedly that he is going to go ahead, that he does want to push this through, this one particular bill. Then he is going to take a step back. Then he is going to try to come to some sort of a compromise with the opposition parties when it comes to the broader package of laws that have been proposed since earlier this year. Neve?
OK, Mohammed Jamjoon in West Jerusalem, many thanks for that.